Hello, I'm Joanne Myers, Director of Public Affairs Program. For almost 100 years now, the Carnegie Council has been the premier voice for ethics in international affairs. This month begins our annual fund drive. We hope you will consider to donate and donate generously so you can continue to watch these videos. To donate, please press the pause button, donate, and you will return to this video. Thank you for keeping the voices of ethics alive.
The amputee has been described by one journalist recently as middle-aged and tired. Is that a fair assessment? And how do you see this question of fairness playing out in the current situation or in the foreseeable future?
Well, it's a position that I hold very firmly, both as a citizen of a non-nuclear weapon state, but also as the president of the 1995 Review and Extension Conference, where in response to the repeated assurances of nuclear weapon states that we needed to have an indefinite extension of the treaty so that there was some predictability for them to proceed with nuclear disarmament. We've had all those assurances and promises given to us completely violated. And so, I mean, there is no trust at the moment between nuclear weapon states and non-nuclear weapon states. And to make Iran or some other country an excuse for not proceeding with nuclear disarmament is again not true, because from 1970, when the treaty entered into force, for 40 years, we have not had serious disarmament undertaken in terms of Article 6 of the treaty, which promised nuclear disarmament in return for the fact that the non-nuclear weapon states undertook not to acquire nuclear weapons legally, and to have that legal obligation ascertained through International Atomic Energy Agency safeguards. Now, we, of course, now have got a number of restrictions being introduced with regard to the Article 4, which guaranteed the free flow of nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. That is being hemmed in by a number of restrictions. People are asked not to enrich their uranium. Domestically, they are asked to use international fuel banks and international multilateralized fuel cycle arrangements and so on. So this should be a voluntary decision, of course, of countries. And ideally, I would not myself want to see my country have nuclear power for energy purposes when there are other safer means available without creating climate change problems, as we know fossil fuels do. But nevertheless, there is this constant tension in the treaty between the nuclear weapon states and the non-nuclear weapon states, because there is a sense of asymmetrical obligations being heaped on the non-nuclear weapon states, and the fact that the nuclear weapon states have not fulfilled their part of the bargain, because this was a central bargain that is constantly being referred to in 1970. If you look at the number of nuclear weapon-free zones that exist in the world today, the concept of a nuclear weapon-free zone predated the concept of a nuclear non-proliferation treaty. The first one was the Treaty of Tlatelolco, which converted the whole of Latin America and the Caribbean into being nuclear weapon-free. Now, here are states who self-assertively and very self-reliantly decided that they would not want to be.
Brazil and Argentina.
Brazil, Argentina, all of them. All of them. And they were on the verge of going nuclear. So were other countries like South Africa. Today, the whole of South Africa is nuclear weapon-free. It has got the Treaty of Pelindaba, which has entered into force. And I was glad that at the opening statement of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, she promised that the United States would submit to the Senate the protocols which would respect those nuclear weapon-free zones, the one in Africa and the one in the South Pacific, where Australia, New Zealand, and other South Pacific states belong to, so that there would be some legal recognition of those nuclear weapon-free zones. Because so far, it's only one nuclear weapon-free zone, the Latin American nuclear weapon-free zone, that is recognized by the United States and the other nuclear states.